Hello and welcome back to podcast Pitstops by Ask the Accountant at JnG&x 2024. I am joined by Sophie. Sophie, you've got branding on that is new to our industry, so I'm looking forward to this. So let's get started. Who are you and what do you do and who do you work for?
Hi, it's great to be here. So I'm Sophie Hossack. I'm Head of Partnerships here at Allica Bank. We're a small business bank that's digital, but with humans as well. So every customer gets a relationship manager.
Brilliant. That is unique.
Yeah, it's unique. It's unique. We're blending the best of both worlds, right? Modern day banking, but with humans.
Cool. So how long have you been operating in the UK as a bank?
Yeah, we got our banking license in 2019 and we started with commercial mortgages. Right. But over the last year, we've actually implemented a current account. But most excitingly, from your point just earlier, in the last 6 months, we've built a accounting-specific team. Right. So we have a team now of 8 people who are working directly with accountants up and down the country, and that's why we're here today.
That is quite the investment. Yeah. When some of your competitors, for example, Starling, maybe only have 1 or 2 people focused on the accounting industry. So the fact that you guys have identified the industry as a target is quite, and you put so much resources, quite interesting.
Yeah, our mission is a really genuine one. We want to become the most recommended business bank in the UK. Yep. And to do that, we need to work and support accountants. Yep. Because as we all know, the bank's been retrenching from the high street over the last 10, 20 years. Yep. And so accountants have had to pick up a lot of the slack, whereas previously accountant plus a bank manager would support the business owner. Over the last 10, 12 years, actually, the accountants had to do a lot of that work. So we're trying to reintroduce that.
Okay, so before we go any further into these questions, which we'll go off script here, but that's fine. So, you do a business bank account?
Yes.
Did I see somewhere on your advertising you've got a savings account?
Savings account.
Business savings account.
Also savings accounts.
Okay. Talk about.
And lending as well.
And so lending as well.
Commercial mortgages, asset finance, growth finance. So
wow.
We refer to ourselves as a fully serviced bank.
Fantastic. Which a lot of these banks normally aren't.
Yeah.
Talk to me about technology. Like accountants and bookkeepers want an easy life.
Yes.
So are we all open banking compliant?
Yeah, that's all fine. And we integrate as well with Sage and with Xero. Those are our first 2, not yet, but we are currently monitoring the demand. And
have you listened to this podcast before?
Yeah, I know. And after the next 2 days, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a pretty increased demand request for that. And actually somebody today as well was asking about free agents. So we're really, really open to where does the data need to go? How do we make life easier? And also, how do we then build really compelling bank feeds? So ones that work is good, but ones that do more is better. Yep, so we're looking at that.
Have a chat with Analytics as well.
Okay.
Like accountants and bookkeepers love Analytics because it's all great having a live feed, but the moment that drops, it's duplicated the data. Yeah. It's a nightmare. So what we like to use Analytics for is we send off for a snapshot of the bank data between those dates. It pulls it all through in a CSV file, and we can then reconcile that against what's in QuickBooks, Xero, Free Agent, Sage, and we could go, that transaction got pulled in twice, or that transaction is not even there. So yeah, it's another good backup tool that we like to have. So, open banking compliant. How easy is it to start a bank account?
Really easy. So we have an assisted onboarding journey. So actually, our team will speak to so for example, an accountant's client. If the client says to the accountant, I'm really fed up, I'm really frustrated, I'm really struggling with my current bank, who do I go with? Yep. And the accountant says, well, actually, the team at Allica could help, have a conversation with them. Our team would then have a 15, 20-minute phone call with that business owner to go through the onboarding process. Right. We fill in the application on their behalf and we answer those questions with them.
So it's not app-driven, it's person-driven.
Yeah, it's assisted. And then that will take a matter of days to set up the account if everything, if they meet the criteria. And
cool. So a challenge we're seeing quite a lot in banking for businesses at the moment is AML. Yeah. So, for example, Starling, we're very happy to open bank accounts for everyone and anyone originally. Now they're being more and more selective, and actually they're turning around and shutting down bank accounts of businesses of our clients, including my own. So we went from a one limited company to we made some acquisitions, so we became a group. All of a sudden, Starling decided they can't touch us. So have you guys got any quirks, shall we say, about group structures or ownership issues?
It's a really good question. Actually, you're not alone. So there was a report recently that 140,000 small businesses in the UK last year got debanked.
Wow.
140,000. So everyone's known the phrase debanking over the last 12 months because of a certain politician. But actually, it's really impacted business owners up and down the country. And I've spoken to some accountants today where that's also happening from their high street bank. Mainly, it's not the AML issue in that respect. It's normally the administrative burden associated with managing that account.
Right.
And a lot of the high street banks in particular no longer want to support and serve the middle businesses.
AML is the excuse to get you out the door.
It can be, yeah.
Right. So my client wants to open a new bank account or constantly cursing current provider.
Yeah.
I recommend my client to you.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Is that a link to a website? Is that a give so-and-so a call because that's my account manager?
Exactly.
My client?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That team that we've set up, you have your own partnership manager and you would have their details, their phone number, their email. We definitely have a conversation with you about clients in advance. So you felt confident that these were the types of clients that we can support.
Yeah.
You asked earlier about the types of quirks that we might have as a bank.
Yeah.
We're really positioning ourselves as a bank for established businesses. So medium businesses who have been trading for over 12 months in the UK.
Yeah.
A good rule of thumb is that they have over 5 employees, 250. Okay. That's the kind of idea.
Right. So we're not targeting small startup businesses here. They need to be established for 12 months, have about 5 employees. Okay. Fair enough. And is there a vision to target those smaller businesses who probably don't actually need much support? They just need a facility.
So actually, they're really well catered for by the likes of the other challenger banks that you mentioned. They do a fantastic job of serving them because they're quite simple and small and easy to onboard. And the high streets also act in a quite similar way because they look and feel like consumers. So the high streets can target them. So it's really that medium group that we're committed to.
I mean, this is very off script, but I'm intrigued. So let's go with it. Sorry. No, that's fine. This is just going to be a really good sales pitch for you. So we're all set up and running. A person has taken my client's details, they've set up a bank account for them. Bank card comes through.
Yep.
Let's talk about technology from day one onwards. Like, we got, is it a website banking? Yeah. Is it open banking?
It's online. App? Yeah, it's online banking through the website, but also through the app.
Okay.
You'd have your own Visa card as well.
Yep.
So a couple of the kind of benefits, we try and really reward customers for using our current account in particular. Yep. So there are no fees associated with it.
Okay.
But we have an instant access savings pot. So people can move money into that savings pot, earn money on that, earn interest on that. And again, it was staggering. We did a report last year, just the huge number of businesses up and down the country who aren't earning anything on their surplus cash.
0%.
Exactly.
Everything.
Yeah. And business owners are currently missing out on 7.5 billion in interest.
So I moved from Starling after I was debanked to Virgin.
Yeah.
That was okay. I kind of knew what to expect because I'm going technically to a high street bank.
Yeah.
But I did have to sit there and go, what the bloody hell's that?
Yeah.
Because I got cash back.
Right.
In my bank is like,
what's that benefit for?
Cash back?
Yeah.
And then I got interested. Oh,
yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen that in my bank account for the business. Like I've always had it personally, obviously, but for my business account, it's like, oh.
And that's the interesting role that accountants can now play in having these conversations with their clients.
Yeah.
So it's a conversation that they haven't had to have for such a long time. Whereas they can be now looking at clients where there may be quite a lot of spend, there may be quite a lot of savings there, and are they maximising the most from the opportunities the banks could provide?
Yeah.
It's a really interesting conversation for accountants to be having.
Brilliant. Okay. And online banking?
Yes.
Through the website?
Through the website or the mobile app. Yep, mobile app is there as well. But the really key thing is to say that although we are a digital bank, every single customer gets a relationship manager.
Okay.
So they get their own dedicated.
Different from the account team.
Exactly.
So my account relationship manager,
yes,
as an accountant, will speak to my client.
Yeah. Get them set up, get them on board,
and then that will hand over that relationship to the medium business team client manager.
Exactly. So those are experienced bankers.
Yeah.
They're again up and down the country, and they can really support, help, and give guidance on.
Where does our relationship as an accountant or bookkeeper?
Yeah.
Sit with you guys once my client's set up with a bank account and my client rings your team, says XYZ, whatever it is there then still an open channel of communication between that client relationship manager and the accountant with the client's permission, obviously, to share?
Exactly.
Or is it no, we just deal with your client now, if your client, we may need to tell your client to get you involved?
No, we really want to work shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
So a big part of the team that we've built and the way we've designed it is that although you have your own dedicated accountant partnership manager, they will always have an open communication with our banking team. We can talk about best supporting your client as well. So the idea is that there is that open communication the whole way through. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant.
That was really off script though, wasn't it? Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fine. Whenever we're talking to new people, it's always good to get that full understanding, because if we don't do that right now, our listeners will go, that sounded interesting, and do nothing about it. Whereas hopefully we've now given our listeners enough information to go, I need to go have a chat with them.
Yeah.
And go from there. Who's your backers?
So we're first of all, we're a profitable bank. So we actually just recently had our annual report last month. So we announced profitability on that. It's brilliant. But we've got some of the big backers like TCB, Warwick Capital, etc. Right. So we've supported by them at the beginning.
I think just people are nervous.
Yeah, of course.
About choosing a bank that's not backed, and where they come from, and
do we have a full license?
I was going to say my next question for you would be around. We've seen a lot of controversy around Monzo and Revolut not protecting their customers from fraud properly, or not reimbursing it because they're not under the exact right charter or something. Are you guys all up to date with all the charters, and you follow everything and you honour everything like that?
Yeah, so we're, as I say, fully regulated as a bank. We're really committed to supporting FSCS guarantee as well, the 85k. So yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So let's go back on script.
Yes.
Okay. Now we've plugged the bank. So is this your first accounting and bookkeeping event?
Good question, but no. Many years ago, back in 2011, I was part of the founding team of a product called Receipt Bank.
Yep.
So I was actually the first employee with the two co-founders. And so I've been to a lot of accounting shows here in the UK, but I also spent 5 years building the business out in Australia. So know our Australian contingent very, very well.
Brilliant. Okay. Let's hope the future of the bank is a bit more positive from a client relationship than Dex have done, but okay. So what is your impression of Account-X?
It's huge. It's absolutely massive. Really interesting conversations already today. Loads of real engagement as well. Yeah. So people are keen to find out more, keen to learn more. People have said to us already, like, how are you guys so popular? What are you doing on your stand? Why are so many people coming over and talking to you? What are you giving away?
It's a pain point in the industry.
That's it. It's as simple as that. This is a day-to-day frustration that accountants and bookkeepers are facing when their clients are coming to them needing help and they don't know where to go. Yep. And that's as simple as that. We're excited to be here.
Brilliant. Okay. We are 3/4 of the way through day one.
Yep.
Is there anything you're looking forward to for the rest of today or tomorrow, or just more conversations?
I'm really looking forward to walking the floor, actually.
Yep.
So a big part of what I enjoy at these shows is being able to go see what other people are doing, what they're building, also how they're positioning themselves as being helpful in the market. I think that gives a really good idea of what the challenges are, but also just having the informal conversations with a lot of accountants and hearing what they're working on at the moment, and also what they're aspiring to do. Yeah. There's a lot of conversations that has been over the last couple of years about M&A and growth as well. So it's interesting to hear that.
Brilliant. Okay. 3/4 of the way through day one.
Yeah.
What's been your highlight so far?
Oh, you know what? I really like the robot man, the
dancing robot at the front door. Yeah, I caught a glimpse of that as I was walking past to my next event. And it's very good.
Great. I really enjoyed it. So,
nice. Very in line with the whole tech and digital and stuff. I thought it was very good.
It's been yours.
Mine's coming up this afternoon.
Oh.
I am interviewing and facilitating the Philip Hammond conversation.
Oh, amazing.
So it's like, oh my God.
God, that is big.
Yeah.
I saw him on the speaker lineup.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. Nervous, but excited.
Are you going to ask him some of these questions as well?
I've got 3 set questions I've already decided to ask him. So I've got to introduce him.
Yeah.
Then he's going to do his little 15-minute session. Then I'm going to sit down with him and ask him 3 questions.
What's your favourite biscuit? What do they serve at number 10?
I do want to ask him if he really had the gin in the glass when he did the budget.
Oh, yeah.
They're allowed anything they want. Apparently it's always water.
Yeah, wasn't King Clark the last one with the whiskey?
Yeah, and then I've got to open it up to the floor and the attendees to ask questions. So yeah,
that's cool.
Going to be a highlight for me, I think.
Yeah, it's amazing.
These events are huge, as you say.
Yeah.
What's your top advice for the attendees to take action? How do they get value out of this day they've just sacrificed from the office?
Yeah, it's a big commitment. You know, you're taking time out of the business, time away from your team, time away from your clients. I do think reflecting on what you've heard or learned, or trying to group the themes that you come back with in the office the next day. Also taking some time out, if you can. If you haven't already, try and book out Friday, definitely, and even Monday if you can.
Yeah.
Just to really think about what it is that you learned, what it is that you thought about. And it's really, really easy to say yes to everything and so hard to say no.
Yeah.
But you can prioritize who you have follow-ups with. And you can say, I'm so interested in this. and I'm going to be really interested in 3 months' time.
Yes.
Can I book it in for then?
Schedule it on.
People are going to be respectful of that, understanding of that. And that's probably the key thing, choosing when you follow up.
You know what? If they're not, maybe that says something about them. And actually, should you be wanting to work with them potentially if they're being a bit sales heavy, shall we say?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of the account in event space at the moment? So we've got a lot of expos like this. So we've got Fab at the start of the year. Then we've got DAS. Then we've got this. Then we've got Accountex Manchester.
Yeah.
Then we've got the ICB tour, all the governing bodies to their tours. We've got so much going on.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm actually joined today by Karina, who leads our marketing and partnerships, and she's fantastic. And she's spent a lot of time really thinking about which events that we go to, how do we support, what's our presence there. They're all slightly different. And I know everyone kind of says that, but they really are. We were at Festival Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Yeah, they've got their own feel. And
that was a totally different feel to DAS. And the content was different, and the groups there and the breakouts were different. So I think finding where you feel most comfortable and most confident having conversations, both formally and informally, really works. Not all events work for everybody.
Yep.
We're coming to pretty much everything. And, we're really keen to keep coming to them and seeing what works for us.
Fantastic. Okay, what do you love most about the accounting space?
So after I left Receipt Bank, I left Receipt Bank in 2019, I didn't think I'd work in the space again, actually.
Was that traumatic, was it?
No, I'd loved my time. And I say that so honestly and genuinely. I absolutely loved building that business. I loved my time in Australia. It was just phenomenal. I felt so grateful and so lucky to be able to do it. But after kind of a 9-year stint, I thought, is this where I then spend the next 10 years?
Yeah.
And I, at the time, felt very keen that I wanted to go back to the very early stage of a product ideation, go to market plans. So I joined a health tech startup. Totally different area, industry, sector, sales, everything was different. And that was really challenging, really, really hard, fascinating, really interesting, but really challenging. And then when I got the opportunity to come to Allica, it really did feel like an opportunity because it felt like this industry has so much influence and impact on how businesses run. And the way businesses run, if they are healthy and they can operate well, that has a huge economic impact on society, on how people feel about themselves. Money, accounting, it's highly emotional. And I think that's what is exciting about being back in the space. That's why I'm actually really thrilled to be back. Everyone in these rooms has a direct impact on our macro economy. Like, there aren't very many industries where it has that.
You don't get that.
Impact. So, yeah.
Yeah, very true. Is there anything you would change in this industry?
That's a really good question. And I feel like I should have a quicker response to this one, but maybe actually that's part of the answer. Change takes time. This industry has gone through a huge amount of change in a 15-year period. If we talk really about cloud, and let's start in the UK with cash flow, for example, as the key product, huge amount of change. And it will continue to take change, whether that's more technology, firm changes, roles and profiles of firms as well. And I think people may be taking more of a long-term view. I don't think I'd change that. I'd maybe try and keep that, actually. I wouldn't want to lose that for us as an industry, keeping a long-term view of how do we keep evolving and keep changing and keep bringing new things in and adjusting as well.
Great. We've already answered the next question of how to describe your ideal client. We're looking for a medium-sized business. I will just recircle back to this. So on average, 5 employees. Let's put a pound and pence number on this because some people have got like 1 employee, but 20 contractors. So what's the kind of monthly cash in target that you are looking for to class it as a medium business?
Yeah, I suppose how we would describe it is, and these aren't criteria, so these aren't thresholds, but if your business is turning over,
help us profile our client.
If your business is turning over 500,000, that's probably a good size business for us.
Okay.
So that could be, as you say, 1 employee or 2 employees, but contractors. So that, again, there's areas of grey with how we would define them. So for us, it's really important that they've been in business for 12 months and that there's a minimum deposit amount within the current account. So that's £50,000. So that's under the FSCS guarantee, but it's kind of just demonstrating that there's enough going on there.
So we're looking at about 500,000 turnover.
Yeah.
With a cash deposit to start with of 50,000. And is that per business? So say I've got a group of businesses and maybe they've got a 750,000 turnover across the group.
Yeah.
But they've got enough deposits to put in per business. I'm assuming it's 50,000 per business account.
Yeah.
Is that something of interest, or?
It's something that we would just talk about. And again, that's probably the key thing to get across here is that where other banks have really hard and fast rules where they can then say no, and kind of computer says no, or the automated algorithm says no, we're much more leaning into let's have a conversation. And actually, why would you need banking from us? Why would you need support? Are you looking to grow? Is it lending that you're actually looking for? And we can have a conversation about that as well. So it's very much a relationship-driven approach to assessing clients.
Okay, no problems at all. So, in your day-to-day working life, what's the top bit of tech on the top of your tech stack? Like, what is it you would not survive without anymore?
Oh my gosh, this is incredibly boring, but my calendar. Good calendar management. It's a skill and an art form, and it's a thing of beauty.
I mean, I accidentally turned off the notifications from my calendar the other week. I missed 6 meetings. And it's like, I cannot live without being prompted. It turns out I need those notifications. I know, good calendar. Have you got a app recommendation there?
Yeah, well, I do just use Google Calendar, which isn't particularly fancy or anything, but after many years, it does the job, and I know exactly how I then manage it and work with it.
That's what, it doesn't matter really what the app is, does it? So as long as you're using it and it works for you. Yeah,
exactly. And I know other pieces of tech that I've used in the past, things like Slack are just phenomenal communication tools. That's really a good one too.
Brilliant. Okay, AI.
Yes.
Can't escape AI around here. People hate it. People love it. People are excited by it. People are dreading it. Some people think they're going to lose their job to AI. Other people think it's just a re-engineering of how we're going to use our time. Personally, I believe it's a re-engineering. And I believe, for example, when Apple put AI into my phone and my tablet, I'm going to be on cloud 9. But what's your thoughts on AI and how it's going to impact you and your work and the industry?
I tend to lean towards your side of the fence on this one. I think it's going to be adjustment. I think it's going to take longer than we anticipate.
Yes.
I think the way we feel comfortable and confident even talking about it will change quite significantly. It's a little bit like when we started Receipt Bank in 2011. iPad had only come out about a year before.
Right.
So we were then introducing a mobile app and an iPad app to accountants and then saying to them, your clients can take a photograph of their receipt. Nobody wanted to use it. Nobody wanted to think about that because they just, understandably, it was something new, it was something different. But very quickly we do adjust and it becomes normal.
We were told when Receipt Bank started and auto entry started, this is the end of the bookkeeper.
Absolutely not.
I mean, looking around, there's plenty of them here.
Yeah.
But what it did allow bookkeepers to do was re-engineer their time.
Yeah.
So instead of manually entering data, they were now doing more valuable things for their clients. So accountants and bookkeepers did better because of that. Yeah. I think we're going to see the same with AI.
Totally. And it changes how you can interact and work with your clients.
Yes.
So rather than you having to go to your clients' offices to then sit in front of a pile of paperwork and that's the interaction, actually you're just changing the expectations. The client can do more and you can automate more for them so it's easy for them. But then the experience and the interaction you're having isn't one of administrative or someone who's nagging or chasing, which no one wants to be in. Like, no one likes that.
Yeah, no one values being nagged.
No.
So
apart from me with my calendar. I love it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. How did you discover us, Ask the Accountant?
Well, boiler suits. Saw you at Fab and you
stand out a bit.
Very, very compelling. And then of course everywhere, right? So all over social media. I've listened to quite a few of the episodes now, which have been great. So yeah, love what you do.
Thank you for your time today. That's been really interesting. And if anyone's got any follow-up questions about you, they can find you on the website and stuff.
Yeah.
But this is your opportunity to plug, because we've not plugged the bank enough, is it?
Gosh, thank you.
Feel free to look at the camera and plug away.
Great. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much. So please come and see us at allica.bank. We're supporting accountants up and down the country to help support their small business clients. If you see an orange bowler hat, that's us as well. And we're really here to be a relationship-driven bank, but powered by technology. So,
right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely lovely to chat to you, to learn about the new banking offering to medium businesses in the UK. So that's another episode of Podcast Pit Stops from Ask the Accountant at AccountX 2024. Stay tuned for the next episode that will be coming out in the coming days. Thank you very much.